There's Tennessee Homestead. How in the heck are you? I hope you're doing a lot better than I've just gotten. We had a flu going around up here. It started out where I thought I had the stomach flu. And when I just started coming out of that, then all of a sudden I come down with this respiratory infection, coughing, sneezing, it was awful. Couldn't sleep. I mean, you were probably getting 2 hours worth of sleep a night. It was just awful. You lay down, it was like kind of like having walking pneumonia. That went on for another 2 weeks, and then about a week to get yourself up moving again. Yeah, it was bad. And everybody all had the same symptoms. I don't know, I got the flu, and then I got this. And now it's all part of it. Whew. Over a month worth, man, I'm telling you what, knocked me flat on my butt. Took us. I'm getting too old for that kind of crap. Anyway, let's get into it. I wanted to talk about it a little bit. Got a bunch of videos. I could do, like, sit at the computer and do some editing and things of this nature. But that second phase, I thought, okay, well, the stomach settled down, little coughing. Well, by day 2, I couldn't quit coughing. I mean, just all the time. So, yeah, it was rough. I'm feeling pretty good now, though. Anyway, let's talk about what went on. We just had that shooting in Russia. And once again, the Biden administration just made a mess of it. They really did. The Russians had just captured those guys, and they got them. Yeah, they started shooting off their mouths about, they're ISIS, and the Biden, when Ukraine, that was the first thing out there. When Ukraine. Well, all of them were Ukrainians, yes. So that's a bit of a problem, don't you think? And whether or not they're ISIS, the Russians don't know yet. I mean, they just got these guys arrested today, for God's sakes. Yeah, this video will probably be up in a couple of days, but about 2 days ago, they didn't even know, and Biden administration's running amok, which kind of tells you, and makes them a bit nervous, that they know more than they're saying. And here's why. They put up, and even tried to put out this little, it was in Arabic, note that, with translation underneath it, saying that they did the attack. Just in general principle, the attack. They forgot that the note was dated, and it was from some attack over in the Middle East some time ago. So it was not current. Now Russia's beginning to go, what are you guys trying to hide here? And they pretty much are going to get to the bottom of it. But they're going to get to the bottom of it through their own investigation. So they know that they know. Now, Russia was getting kind of tired of this whole mess with Europe and France going, we're going to send 2,000 troops in. And Poland saying, well, we may send troops in. No, okay. Let me tell you what they did. They called up 300,000 of their reservists that just really cycled out not that long ago from fighting in Ukraine. They're coming back. And they're going to start up a new training cycle for an additional 200,000 men. Now, you got to keep in mind, they got over 1 million men in Ukraine in reserve right now, expecting NATO to pull something stupid. Russia has no intention of attacking Europe. Putin said it best. You got nothing we want, was the basic gist of it. What does Europe have that Russia doesn't have in more quantities? Okay? They don't want Europe. They want Europe to leave them alone. At this point, we have lost a country that wanted to be our friend and ally. They were our allies in World War II. And I want you to think on something, just 30 seconds. If it was not for the Russians, they'd be doing the goose step still and zig heil all over Europe. The Western allies, and they fought and fought hard. Okay? I wouldn't discredit the service the men made in Europe at all. But you only faced 20% of the German army. 20%. That was it. Well, where was the other 80%? They were in Russia. The Russians had to deal with them. And it cost millions of Russian lives to push the Germans back into Berlin. Keep that in mind. They were our allies. And how did we thank them? We devised a plan to overthrow them. And the Russians got a hold of it. Soviet Union at that time. To where the West, Europe, and America, since we had the troops there, let's just take them. They've been beaten up pretty bad. Why would we do something like that? What kind of character does that show for Europeans? And for us? Check history. It was done. And look what we're doing now. We started a proxy war to try to overthrow Putin even though he's just the president. He's elected. And by the way, I was watching their elections really closely. You do know that the international people that were sent in to watch the election in Russia, because they always have them at all their elections, you know, and the Donbass, all that, yeah, they had international inspectors there to make sure it was being done cleanly and people weren't being pushed. The U.S. threatened sanctions on any country that had inspectors in there that gave it a good review. Huh? We threatened the countries to make sure that they said bad things about Russia. And I admire the countries that had those international inspectors in there because they pretty much thumbed their noses at the U.S. And they did a good job. And yes, Putin did a little bit better than what our polling even showed he was going to get. Just because the people of Russia love Putin, and they do love him. If you know any Russians, they'll tell you. Yeah, there's like everywhere else. He only carried about 84% of the people in the polling, and he got 86 in the election. And there had been a few things happen that made more people kind of side with him. Okay, not a problem. You have to think about these things. But America tried to poo-hoo their elections. And now we're looking like maybe we know a lot more about what happened to that shooting in Moscow than we are going to tell. Yeah, we seem to be covering somebody's butt. Probably Ukraine's. It's not going to work. And the Russians are mad. And they're getting ready to roll it out to them. You don't want to tick that country off. They can just keep coming at you. And if any of these European countries that are thinking about sending troops in there, they will not be attacking Europe unless Europe gets involved in this war. Then there's a chance. They've even said, if your country sends troops in there, you'll be at war with Russia. And that will include us striking your country. Now, didn't say nuclear. When he says he can reach out and touch just about anywhere in Europe, he can do it with just standard ballistic missiles, no nuclear involved. But while we're on the topic of nuclear, let me tell you something that the American people need to wake up to. We have not been maintaining our nuclear systems. They did a recent test on the Minuteman III missiles, and the ones that they tried to launch didn't have the warheads on them, but the ones they tried to launch was a 100% failure. 25 years ago, I was told by a full-bird colonel that was in charge of, not in charge, let me back that up, second in command of one of our large nuclear facilities out west, said that at that time, 25 years ago, that they guessed that only about 50% of those missiles would ever come up out of their silos. Well, that is where most of our deterrent sits. We do have some on Trident missiles on submarines. Then over in the Red Sea, something happened that made me go, British submarine tried to sink a Houthi ship. Launched a Trident missile at them. Kind of overkill, but yeah. It never come out of the submarine. Never cleared the tube. So they went to fire another one. It came out of the tube and plunked down into the water next to the submarine. Looks like Britain hasn't been maintaining their missile system. It's going to be a lot of use. But then it was even funnier when Germany, one of their ships, and we have very few NATO support over there, I think 4 or 5 ships at best. They fired a ship-to-ship missile at a Houthi, one of the little Houthi ships. And they should have never released that deck footage. I bet some drunken sailor did that. It fired out the side, out of their tube, whoosh, and went about 10 foot and went splash. NATO. Yeah, you guys better wake up and smell the coffee, kids. Okay, now they got a real problem with the Houthis because somebody, probably Iran, gave them some hypersonic missiles. And guess what? We have no way to shoot those suckers down. So we have a out-of-date that probably doesn't work nuclear deterrent. We have no defenses whatsoever to hypersonic ballistic missiles and hypersonic cruise missiles, and that's what all of Russia's nuclear weapons sit on. More or less, we would probably hit a handful of Russian targets, and Russia would hit everything they shot at. Not good, because they have more nuclear weapons than we do. But then the last resort, here it is. Folks, they shut your civil defense systems, your bomb shelters. They did away with them back in the 60s. Russia, on the other hand, has kept their nuclear bomb shelters that Stalin had even built, and the Soviet Union, they've maintained them. Their subway systems are set up as bomb shelters. And they got grocery stores, restaurants, all kinds of things. They're pretty cool. Yeah. Wake up. Our government has been taking money that our Pentagon has been, that should be maintaining our equipment, and they haven't. All of our military equipment so far over there has been a fiasco. Total fiasco. They took the explosive charges they hang on the outside of tanks to help protect them a little bit. They took that off the Abrams, but they couldn't get rid of the uranium metal without rebuilding the whole tank. Russia's got all those. Yeah, they were putting them in a museum right after their weapons engineers get done going through everything on them. And Putin, when they asked him about the Abrams tank, kind of laughed. He said, it's like a tin can with a cannon. He thought they were junk. And he's right. They got the drone video of a Russian tank, a T-17, an older tank, and an Abrams going head to head. And the Abrams got off the first shot. It ricocheted off of the body of the T-14, or T-17. T-17 returned fire and blew that tank to pieces. Tin can with a cannon. But it was an expensive one. And I'm going to do a whole video on where we went wrong with our Pentagon. Give you a quick one. The F-35, even the Pentagon admits, it takes 2 or 3. You got to have 2 or 3 of them in stock if you want to keep one of them flying. The one out in the East Coast where the pilot had to eject out because he lost all control on his plane, man. There's nothing he could do. Software glitch. They got most of them that we ordered now taken back into the manufacturer because of software issues. We buy extremely expensive play toys at the Pentagon, and guess what? Most of it doesn't work. Let's wake up, America. Anyway, I don't want this to get very long. I hope you guys are having a great week. I'm feeling like a human being. I've got a bunch of them in the hopper, and you'll be seeing my face a lot. Okay? And hopefully I stay alive long enough to get some more of this caught up. Anyway, hope you're having a great time. I hope you're feeling better. If you get this flu, I'm so sorry. I don't think I can transmit it over the air, though. But you guys have a great, great, great weekend. Okay? Well, actually, by the time this gets up, it'll probably be Sunday, so your weekend will pretty much be over. Enjoy your work week. We'll talk to you real soon. Take care.